Hi, friends. So I noticed when you guys were doing your assignment yesterday that you guys were having some trouble with the less than subtracting. And I noticed you were having trouble with subtracting across zeros. So that's what I want to focus on today. Here I'm looking at um, this letter A. Here are my pens, you can see letter A. And it's 4,000 minus 100 or 1,374. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in the ones column. I see a 0. Well, I can't take 4 from 0, so I'm going to go to the tens to borrow. Sometimes you call it your neighbor, but we're not going to call it the neighbor because, to be quite honest, I want to make sure we're naming the place value. So there's nothing in the tens, so we can't borrow from the tens. I'm going to the hundreds. I can't borrow from the hundreds, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to borrow from the thousands. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cross out. Once I borrow 1, this becomes a 3. Now I bring my 1 here, and then here, and then here. Because I've brought it here, and then I keep borrowing, this becomes a 9, this becomes a 9, and that stays a 10. So the hint is you know that it's going to be a 10, and then they're going to move it over again and borrow 1. And instead of that, we're just going to go ahead and put it as 3,990 with the 10 here. So then I can go ahead and say 10 minus 4 equals 6. 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 minus 3 is 6, comma, comma, comma. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2,626. Okay? So again, when I'm looking at letter B, I can't borrow from this part because it's a 0. I'm gonna start there, and I'm gonna go next door. They have nothing, and that's the tens. I'm gonna go to the hundreds. They have nothing, so I'm gonna go ahead to the 7,000. It becomes a 6,990, and this becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 6 is 3. Comma, comma, comma. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1,387. Now, the tricky part is when you look at a number or a letter like letter C, I see that 5 minus 2, I can do that. So I get to have a 3. So now I'm going to go 0 minus 3. Well, I can't take 3 from 0. So I'm going to go to the hundreds place. There's nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead to the thousands place. I'm going to borrow 1, and then this would become a 10, but I had to borrow again, so it's a 9, and this becomes a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 9 minus 7 is 2, comma, comma, and 7. So you can, if you wanted to, do it a longer way, where you're doing 0 minus 7, I can't do that, so I go next to the 10. I don't have anything, so I go to the hundreds. I don't have anything. And then you go here, and the 6 becomes a 5, and then this becomes a 10. And then I cross it out, it becomes a 9, and then this becomes a 10. I cross it out, it becomes a 9, and then this becomes a 10. I think it's a little trickier to do it that way, but if you want to, that's okay. So 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 0 is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0, comma, comma. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay? Also, rule is bigger number on top when subtracting. You have to also match up those commas. So important. A lot of you are putting the smaller number on top. That does not make sense. We will be going into the negatives. And at some point, you will do negatives, but later on in school, not this year. Okay? So make sure that you're looking at what this is saying. And just because it says greater than and less than doesn't mean if it's greater than you always have to add and less than you always have to subtract. We're going to do a little practice tomorrow where I know those last numbers on the sheet yesterday were a little tricky because they're asking for some number is 6,000 less, and then they gave you a number. So we're going to do that with some mystery boxes tomorrow, and we'll take some time to do that. Okay, I hope this helped. If it doesn't, then we can go ahead and do some small group regrouping and do a little extra practice on it. Okay?